And you know the sun's sitting fast, just like they say, nothing good ever lasts. Go on now and kiss it goodbye, but hold on to your love because your heart's bound to die. Go on now and say goodbye to our town, to our town. Can't you see the sun sitting down on our town, on our town? Good night. Now I sit on the porch, watch lightning bugs fly. I can't see too good, I got tears in my eyes. I'm leaving tomorrow, but I don't want to go. I love you, my town, you'll always live in my soul. And you know the sun's sitting fast, and just like they say, nothing good ever lasts. Go on now and kiss it goodbye, but hold on to your love because your heart's bound to die. Go on now and say goodbye to our town, to our town. Can't you see the sun sitting down on our town, on our town? Good night.
Good evening, and welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight's stories include interview with Michelle Mercer, white egret at the trailer court, Operation Christmas Chaw shoeboxes. These stories plus community events, the BBS Playbill, Off the Rack, and more coming up after this.
Even the first day I met Coach, he made me feel like I can do better.
Yeah, you can do better.
When I finally did win, he wasn't surprised.
I knew you had it in you.
Believing. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
On Monday of this week, we spoke to Michelle Mercer about understanding the early years. We have with us in our studio today Michelle Mercer. Michelle, welcome.
Thank you.
We're going to be talking about understanding the early years. Now, you want to give us a little bit more information on what that is?
Well, Understanding the Early Years is a community research initiative, and it involves the teachers and the parents, the guardians, the community agencies, and the Government of Canada. And how that works is there's 3 parts to it, and it's the first part is a national longitudinal survey of children and youth, which looks at their health and well-being.
Now, isn't that done by Statistics Canada?
Yes.
Very strange you should say that, because before I came to work with BBS, I did a survey with the longitudinal children, and that is a very intensive survey.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. So probably some of the stuff that I collected from families here came back through understanding the early years?
So it's actual information that goes back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the second part is early development instrument, and what they do there, it's a teacher questionnaire that assess how ready the children are to learn as they enter school.
Okay. Okay.
So that's ongoing.
That's well, I know the survey was over. I was going to say 20-year period, but that sounds like a long time. But it is over a period of the school life of the child.
That's
I do know
right.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was that, like, it was pretty intense. About there were some little quizzes there that you ask, and you know, you show them pictures and they had to pick which one, that type of thing. So it was pretty long survey and pretty intense. And some of the parents in town may remember when I came and did it with their children. So some of the kids now are getting, you know, older. You know, they're starting to. Some of them, if they're not already in their teens, they're about to enter their teens. Right? That's amazing how things come around, isn't it?
So that's what I'll be talking about, how it affects their life at early years, plus their later years.
Okay.
And the other part is a community study, which was the mapping. It maps out the local local child and family resources. Like, for
Okay.
example, we have the Family Resource Center.
Weren't you involved in that as well? No, I
no,
think Valerie,
Valerie
was.
was, yeah.
Yeah, so, okay.
Right.
So all those are connected, and because of that, we got understanding the early years. Okay, very good.
And what it does, it helps communities understand how their children are doing.
Okay.
And how best to respond to their needs.
Okay.
So depending on how well the child is doing, then if this child needs assessment or, or any help in certain ways.
Yeah, it needs help in certain areas. Then,
Right.
Then the community and whoever's involved in this can say, well, this is how we can do this for this group of children or this child. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
But it also looks at the whole picture.
Yeah.
For example, all the people in the community, your neighbors, the children's programs and services, like family resource centers, and if there's any child care facilities here,
Yeah.
Daycares, which are not, but any kind of programs like that, plus our school, which is
Yeah.
very important, how this influences early childhood development.
Okay.
So obviously, whatever kind of programs that we have in our community affects a child in a
Yeah.
positive way
Yeah.
later in life.
Yeah.
Even though this helps the child now, but it also helps later in life.
So, in essence, what you're saying, the understanding the early years are is a program that kind of works with all the groups in the community. For example, we have a lot of things in our community. Like there's a story hour at the library for different age groups. You have your preschool, there's the resource center, you have Sunday school.
There's Sunday school.
That's
Yeah.
right, and there's Girl Guide movement, and there's organizations like that, and all those contribute to
Yeah.
to the well-being of our children.
We also have programs through the Resource Center, parenting programs.
Yes.
We also have children programs, Little Shifts programs,
Yeah.
and we will be offering more programs this year.
Yeah, okay.
But it all affects their learning.
Yeah, okay. No, I was just trying to, like you were saying about the survey and the community and the resources, all those things are connected in the life and well-being of the children in our
Exactly.
community. And this is where understanding the early years has come from.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, what does readiness to learn at school mean? What is that?
Well, when we hear the term readiness to learn, is your child ready to learn when he enters school? What often comes to mind is the child's ability to read
Yeah.
and write and do math and those certain subjects. But these things are important, but readiness to learn also means much more. For example, it's a child's physical health and well-being, like you were saying, a child's emotional health and maturity, a child's ability to get along with others, that's very important, and learn new skills, a child's language development and thinking skills, and a child's ability to communicate with others and to understand the world around them. So this child, it is very important for a child to socialize early in life. Then it helps them later in life. They're able to work out things with other children. They're able to get through, get along with others.
Okay. Now, I understand that there is, you guys have a committee on the go?
We do, yeah. I will get to that
Okay.
just in a short while, but I just want to give you some more information
Certainly,
on understanding the early years. Understanding the early years also provides communities with information, like we were talking about, to enable them to make informed decisions about the best policies and the most appropriate programs for families with young children. So family resource centers, they can tell you that that's very important for a young child and their parents. And they also said that the more our community is able to support early child development, so not only the preschool teacher or the kindergarten teacher or just the parent, but everybody in the community, it's very important that everybody supports early childhood development, and it helps the child do better in school
Okay.
and in life. But I want to give you some statistics here. They say approximately 54% of families in southwestern Newfoundland, which we're a part of, were considered low income, compared to about 43% in Newfoundland and 23% in Canada overall. Unemployment levels are also high compared to the Canadian average. 60% of mothers and almost 40% of fathers did not work outside the home. This was done about a couple of years ago. But about 28% of households were headed by a single parent. However, even though southwestern Newfoundland may have low socioeconomic status, it is rich in family and community resources. And so their parenting skills were average.
So that makes a difference.
Even though, there was more unemployment rate in southwestern Newfoundland, with the programs for the families, there's more programs, which makes it even better.
Okay. So despite the fact that the families are unemployed and may not have the economic issues to help the kids, the community themselves has a lot of programs going on. The kids are involved in that, so that's a benefit.
That's very important.
Oh, okay.
That's very important. So, so in order to help our children, we have to know how the children are doing, and that's where understand the early years come in.
Okay.
Right? They answer those questions, how they are doing.
Yeah, okay.
So then we can provide programs to meet the needs of these children.
Okay. So if there's something that they're not getting, or some social development they're not getting, that the understanding the early years would say, look, this group of kids in this age group is not getting, I'll say, for example, social skills. They don't know how to play very well. We need programs that gets them interacting. That's for an example, right?
Exactly.
That would be what you understand the early years would do?
That's, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. With us now, we have a committee.
Yes.
Now, what we're doing as a committee in the community, this committee is formed by parents in the community, representatives, and local community groups.
Okay.
So there's about a dozen of us on the committee, and what we did before we formed the committee, we had an information and planning session.
Okay.
So the group discussed services that are available in this community for young children and their families, and what their gaps were in those services. And the participants were invited to be part of the UEY committee, so it did. So
you picked up your committee from the information session?
Yes.
I believe
yes.
that information session was held last year, wasn't it?
It was,
yeah.
a little over a year ago.
Okay, yeah, I can remember, actually.
You were there.
Yeah, there was a couple of ladies from Stephenville out. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
so what, like, now that you got your committee formed, like, what are you doing now? You actually got a committee. There's 12 people. So you have meetings. What do you?
What we did, our first couple of meetings were, we looked at what programs were here in the community and what we'd like to see in the community. We prioritized what was most important, what we'd like to see. So there were a few things that we'd like to see. I know one thing was more parenting programs, because at the time there wasn't very many parenting programs.
Okay.
So that was
one of the top ones.
Was, and it did happen.
Yeah.
Another thing was skating programs for preschool children. So
that may be difficult.
Well, yeah, they do have time slotted for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, you're talking. I thought you were meant skating for children, as in teaching children, and just provide a time so where they can go. Okay.
With the older kids.
So actually, in the arena schedule, there wasn't a time slot for really young kids.
There was, but there was a certain age.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
and we also looked at the playground, because we thought the playground, the playground is a very important part for children's development. Yes. So that was one of our main priorities, and we're in the process of hoping to do
some
something.
improvements?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Helping. See, we're here to help.
Yeah.
Anything that needs to be done with anything. If we need more programs, I offer more programs for parents and children. Anything that we can do.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. And we focus on children from 0 to 6.
Okay.
So
That's the age group.
that's the age
Yeah.
group. Yeah.
Okay. What about now? Like you're talking about understanding the early years, and you're talking about the program. And I know there was some government funding came down through a while back. I'm not quite sure what the amount was, but it was a substantial amount. What would you like to see, and if done with this funds, and have you approached the town council to give them some idea as to what the understanding the early years would like to see done with this?
For the playground?
Yes.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
We are in the process of we're going to be talking to the town council about that and hoping to work with them, with the town. Even though it's the town council is responsible for the playground.
Yes.
But you know, it's not only the town council; it's the whole community.
Yes.
It's our children's playground. So why leave it up to the town council? Parents have to kind of keep an eye on their children, making sure that equipment doesn't get beat up,
Yeah.
and
The equipment is safe and
it's safe. Yeah. And I think the most important thing is taking care of our playground, putting garbage in the garbage cans, and
that type of thing. But I'm sure, like, the town council would be only too glad to have a group of parents saying, you know, you have this funds now, may we suggest some things that you could do with this funds to improve our playground. I'd like to believe they would, because in most cases, like, you have this funds and people would say, well, now we got it, what do we do with it? And if you got a group of parents there who is willing to offer some suggestion and maybe even help carry it out to a certain extent, that that can be only beneficial.
well,
Two groups
with the
working
playground, there's a lot of work to planning.
Yes.
Even doing up a 3-year plan for the playground.
Yeah.
For one thing, people have to realize how expensive equipment
Yes,
is.
exactly. Yeah.
You can buy a new vehicle for one piece of equipment that goes on that playground.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So it takes a lot of preparation, a lot of money,
Yeah. Yeah.
and a lot of time. You need a lot of time too, right?
To get it,
Yeah.
definitely. Well, you can see from our playground how it's coming along, but it's been over a period of years rather than a period of months.
That's right.
So, you know, it takes quite a bit. Is there anything else that you want to add? I know you have a fundraiser coming up now pretty soon. I believe it's next week. And that's for the Understand the Early Years TV Bingo, right?
Right, and we're hoping to raise money to help with the playground.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
that money would go toward the playground. Here in the community playground, there's also one at the school behind the resource center.
Okay, yes, yes.
So we're hoping to get some equipment in there as well within the next 3 years.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, one thing is that I want to put out to people is that it's very important that the community get involved. So community involvement is in this initiative recognizes that parents and guardians are the most important people in children's lives. So parents and guardians are responsible for the care and nurturing and protection of their children. So they make decisions regarding their children's health and education and well-being, and they are their children's first teachers.
Yes.
So if we can get everybody involved, everybody in the community, that would be great.
Okay. Well, we certainly like to thank you for dropping by and giving us more information on understanding the early years. If there's someone out there now who's got a child between the ages that you said 0 and 6, and they want more information, or they want to know about the programming that you're going to be offering, would they be able to
They can, yes.
contact you?
Yes.
I guess your phone number's in the book anyway. And I believe you're at the resource center.
Yeah.
And the preschool class. Ahmad during the week anyway, right? That's located in the new school, right
Yes.
at the opposite the library, I believe, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thanks very much for coming in, Michelle. We really appreciate it. When you get further in your plan for the playground, you want to come in and give us an update, we certainly would appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Marie.
You're welcome. The egret is back. It was sighted several times last weekend. We received a call on Friday, October the 31st, telling us there was a large white bird at the trailer court. When we got there, it was gone. It was known to be seen in the garage area, but it wasn't there either. On Sunday, November the 3rd, the bird was sighted again, this time in the pond near the trailer court. This was where we saw the egret. It was feeding. It didn't seem to be bothered by the traffic noise. Most of the vehicles that spotted the bird stopped to take a closer look. Someone told us that they had seen 2 of them during the weekend. It would seem that the word about Burgeo being a good stopover for egrets is getting around. This time of year it seems to be the most popular for egret sightings. We thank everyone who called us to tell us about the egrets. Stay tuned for more of This Week in Review coming up after this.
What you gonna do?
Hey, mister. You drop this? Have a good day, sir.
Honesty. Pass it on.
Hey, wait a minute.
A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Operation Christmas Child was a success again this year. Deadline to have shoe boxes passed in was Sunday, November the 2nd. However, the boxes are still coming in. There were boxes from Francois, the United Church, from Grey River, from Ramia, and from Burgeo. On Tuesday of this week, Kay Cosser and Jesse Skinner, coordinators for the area, were busy collecting the boxes and taking them to the Anglican Church, where the boxes were checked before they are shipped. Each box is checked to see if the label is attached. If not, the ladies have to determine what age group the box is meant for. The boxes are also checked for tape, which has to be removed. All the boxes have to be secured with rubber bands. After this has been done, the shoe boxes are then packed into proper cartons for shipping. From Burgeo, A&R Trucking takes them to Cornerbrook, and from there they are shipped to the Central Collection Centre in Atlantic Canada. At the Central Collection Centre, the boxes are sorted by age groups. All the cartons are then unpacked and repacked by age group. For example, all girls ages 2 or 4 are in one lot of cartons, 5 to 9 in another, and 10 to 14 in another. This makes it easier when the boxes are delivered to be distributed to the children. There's no guesswork. Ms. Kaiser was telling us that per capita, Newfoundland is the second highest in donations and generosity in the shoebox donations. The highest per capita is Alberta. Burgeo and the surrounding area should be very proud to be part of such a wonderful outreach project. Operation Christmas Child coordinators Kay Kaiser and Jessie Skinner would like to extend their thanks to all those who generously gave to the shoeboxes. On Sunday, October the 12th, we brought you a report about upgrading to the community cemetery road. At that time, we were told some of the funding for the upgrading of this road came from the Jolly Seniors. However, at that time, we couldn't confirm this. On Wednesday of this week, we received a call that did confirm this. The group known as the Jolly Seniors had to close down due to low numbers and lack of interest. The group decided that they could not continue with such low numbers, and the group went inactive. The Jolly Seniors had some funds in their bank account, and the remaining members had to decide what to do with the money. After some discussion, the members decided to make a donation to the church, and the rest would be donated to upgrade the community cemetery road. This has been completed. The road has been upgraded, and it is a great improvement. It is always sad when an organization closes down, but we must thank the Jolly Seniors for their generous donation. This was a marvelous and considerate gesture, and we sincerely thank them for their continued contribution to our community. On Friday of this week, we spoke to RCMP officer Derek Strong. We have with us in our studio today RCMP officer Corporal Derek Strong. Welcome, Derek.
Thank you, Marie. Great to be here.
Yes, I understand we're going to be talking about roaming dogs this morning.
We do, unfortunately, have to talk about roaming dogs. Our detachment is getting more and more complaints about roaming dogs in the Burgeo area. And most people don't think that is a serious problem, but actually it is a serious problem to some people. And in fact, it's against the law to let your dogs roam.
Okay, obviously they're not allowed to roam. So what does the law say, or the town laws? I'm assuming it's RCMP laws and town laws as well, is it?
Well, the RCMP don't have any laws, but the laws that we enforce
Yes.
are quite clear. It says that your dog must be under your control at all times, and that means if your dog's at home, it has to be tied. And even if you walk your dog, it has to be under your control at all times. The dog cannot be loose and roaming around. So pretty clear on that one.
Okay. What happens in the case of some, I know some dogs get off accidentally. They loosen their chains, or they lose their collars or whatever. We still do the same thing with those dogs as well? That still applies to those?
Well, and that's an interesting point, you know. When we finally get a call at the police office, it's from a neighbor who says, Jimmy's dog is loose. But they will never call the first time that dog is loose. They'll call the 50th time,
Okay.
or the 100th time.
Okay.
But the person who calls will always know that dog is loose all night, all day, tears into my garbage, barks at my kids, rips up the flower beds.
Okay.
If the dog just gets loose accidentally one day, then we don't get calls about that.
Okay. So it's basically nuisance dogs
Of
that are
course.
that are getting loose.
Well, and that's the issue,
Yeah.
really. That's why people are so inconvenienced by roaming dogs. But lots of people are afraid of dogs. And in Burgeo, any given evening, you can see lots of people out walking.
That's true.
They don't want to be confronted by your dog.
No.
It's frightening for them. And if it's your dog, you should have it at home.
Okay. What does the law say? Like, for example, I know we don't have a dog catcher. So what happens? Okay, the dog is running. Where do we go from there?
Well, quite simply, if we get a complaint about your dog, you will be getting a visit from the police.
Okay.
And if the complainant is willing to give a statement and go to court, then you will be charged and you'll have to appear in court before the judge.
Okay. Usually what are the fines that are with that if your dogs are, depending on the situation, I guess?
Yes, it definitely depends on the situation. But you're probably looking at $100 or more.
Okay.
From my experience, although different judges on different days make different decisions.
Certainly.
And the circumstances always play a role.
Okay. All right. So obviously, any advice for dog owners?
Well, my advice is that I've got a couple of bits of advice there, actually. And generally, when I go to people's houses, they always say, "Oh, my dog would never do anything. My dog is so friendly. My dog would lick you to death." And that's generally what we get. But, you know, I really should tell you a story about something that happened to me about 3 years ago, almost exactly 3 years ago, when I was posted in northern British Columbia. There was a dog that everybody knew. It was a very playful dog. That actually, there was a 3-year-old girl playing next door. It was in the winter. And the dog killed that little girl, playing with the girl. The dog grabbed her by the hood because they were playing in the snow.
Okay, yes.
The dog grabbed her by the hood, gave her a little shake, and that was enough to, unfortunately, break the girl's neck. And that was the worst day of my career yet in 15 years, was dealing with that. The dog owner, this was a dog that had never been aggressive in any way. And the dog had not been aggressive. The dog was playing with the girl.
Okay.
But these little people are fragile,
Yeah.
and I don't want to go through that again.
Yeah.
And I know that the people of Burgeo don't ever want to have that happen either.
No, they most certainly don't, or I wouldn't think they did.
Just because you think your dog would never do any harm doesn't mean it's always the case. We're talking about animals.
True.
Which are unpredictable,
Yeah.
react to certain situations in different ways. If you love your dog, keep your dog at home.
Yeah.
It's your pet, just keep it tied, and everybody will be a lot better off for that.
Okay. I think we covered everything. Is there anything else you'd like to add, or?
Basically, I'd just like to add that if we get a call about your dog and someone's willing to give a statement, you're going to court. And as much as that saddens me to send good people to court, that's the only option we would have in that situation.
Okay. Well, we certainly thank you for coming in and speaking with us.
My pleasure, Marie.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Kindly welcome. Now over to Mayor Ann with the council report.
Good evening. It's been a while since our last town council report. We didn't get our regular meeting. That's the second meeting for October due to a few councillors out of town and so on. So therefore, I could say, I guess there's a lot of water been run under the bridge since my last report. We've had a provincial election. There's been a change of government for better or for worse. But anyway, just whatever it is, I would, since our meeting last night, the new cabinet has been appointed, and Mr. Jack Byrne is now the Minister of Municipal Affairs, and one of his advisors is Dave the Nine, the ex-mayor of Mount Pearl. Dave has been to Burgeo. He served on the Newfoundland Labrador Federation of Municipalities, so therefore we'll have a little contact there, or at least I hope we've got a contact there. Anyway, I guess that's enough about the provincial election. We're on the opposite side of the house. Hopefully it won't be too bad for us. I ran through the numbers of the election, and I see Burgeo voted 30% PC, which made us the strongest supporter of the PC party in our district. So maybe that'll go good for us, as opposed to Portabass, who voted 18%. So I guess we'll just have to play the wait-and-see game, and And that's it. Anyway, we did have our meeting on, as I say, Wednesday night, November the 5th. We had 4 councillors in attendance. The first item, we had 2 members of the Understanding the Early Years Committee was in attendance at the meeting. We met with them for half an hour to 40 minutes. Their main concern is the playground, and they've drawn up a 3-year plan for development of the playground. It was a very interesting and informative half an hour. Council have pledged our support to the committee to see that the playground is improved upon. So we're sort of looking forward to getting to work with the Understanding the Early Years Committee, maybe partnering with the school and so on, and looking forward to, within the next 3 years, some good developments on our playground. And having said that, after the committee departed the meeting, it was decided by council that those 2 wooden structures that is presently on the playground will be removed. They're getting dangerous. They're badly in need of repair. We can't seem to keep them in repair, so it has been decided that they should be removed from the playground. Regarding the water treatment plant, there was a delay. There have been delays. I was estimating it coming on, as you can remember, the middle of November. However, that wasn't so, and we've had a letter from DuraPro Limited, and in this letter they accepted full responsibility for the delay. And what happened was they expected to have the equipment on site, but they received equipment which did not meet up to the expectations or the quality that they wanted. So therefore, in order to ensure that Burjo got good quality equipment that will perform to our highest expectations, the equipment was sent back, and it was adjusted and remanufactured and so on. And in that regard, it left us so that the last of the shipments now will be approximately November the 17th. However, in return for having those delays, DuraPro, in the letter they stated, "I have directed our service department to provide the town of Burjo 1 year of service assistance on site at no charge. This will comprise of quarterly visits by a process specialist to assist their operators in a full inspection and servicing of our equipment." So therefore we did come out of this not all too bad, even though we've had to wait some time. In the meantime, we're going to get some special assistance with operating the plant, inspections and so on, right from the factory. And we're going to be getting that for a full year at no charge. So there'll be someone visiting Burjo once a quarter to assist us with the operation of our new water treatment plant. Now, having said all that, there's some equipment which is due to arrive, and I believe did arrive on Thursday. Workers are due on the site on Monday, and it's our understanding, barring any more delays in equipment, that things will be operating at full tilt, and hopefully, I'll say by mid-December, the system will be turned on. With regard to the arena, contract phase 1 was awarded to Brooks Construction. Now this phase 1 is for the structure only, for the roof, the walls, the flooring. And that work is estimated to start November the 17th with a completion date of February the 6th. Now phase 2, which is the mechanical and the electrical, Brooks was the lowest bid that came in on that tender call. However, it's my understanding that the government did not award the contract before they went out of office. The contract was not awarded to Brooks Construction. So I can only say that I guess there's a few question marks there, but hopefully it's something that will turn out okay and that the contract will be awarded and the mechanical and electrical will be completed. I guess that's just a wait and see game. Some time ago I reported about the large water leak which we have in our main lines of approximately 200 gallons per minute. Our own personnel have not been able to locate those leaks, so we have engaged a outside firm who will be coming to Burgeo hopefully within the week or so, and they assures us that they can find the leaks. They're estimating their costs at about $3,000. That's if they find the leak. If they don't find the leaks, then we only have to pay travel and expenses, which is estimated at $900. The leak is too big to leave just running, so therefore, there was no choice in the matter. It had to be done. So hopefully they get in here and that it won't be too difficult to find the leak and it won't be too costly to have it repaired. As regards to snow clearing, I believe in my last report I mentioned that there was some concern around town with regard to that the contract wasn't called for snow clearing at the Peter Stroid's camp. Mr. Bill Spencer assured Mr. Candle that there's no problem there, and the tender have now been called, and to Council's knowledge, there have been no change in the snow clearing for the Burgeo Road this winter. With regard to the Economic Development Officer, apparently funding have been acquired by the Zone Board to fund 3 positions until the end of March. Now, that means that there will be no EDO position. There used to be 4 positions, now there's only 3. So Burgeo did not get back its Economic Development Officer. I must say in all sincerity that didn't come as any surprise to me. The EDO officers now will be stationed or they will be headquartered at Stephenville and will serve Burgeo and Ramsey, the outlying areas. Apparently all of the EDOs now will be headquartered at Stephenville. So if Burgeo's got a proposal or something to be written up, there will be a development officer come to Burgeo 1, 2, 3 days a week, whatever is required. Now, Council's not exactly pleased with this, and it was moved that we would voice our objections and point out to them that when they were here the last time that they said even if there was only 1 EDO that it would be stationed in Burgeo. But HRD pays the development officer, and I'm sure you've heard the saying before, EU pays the piper, calls the tune, and that's exactly what happens. HRD pays the EDOs, so therefore they say how many you're going to get. It's my understanding that there will be further cuts after March, that a COA will be responsible, and then there will be 2 economic development officers, but that's down the road a piece. So that's where we sit right now. Apparently the office will be manned. We will have the services of an economic development officer as needed and when required. We covered quite a few topics in the meeting, and another one which came up was it's brought to Council's attention that there's been 14 new cases of cancer diagnosed in Burgeo within the last 8 months. Now, we're not sure if that figure is right or not, but that's what's been reported, and that's the figure that's apparently circulating around town. It appears rather high, make no mistake about it. However, we don't know if that's above the national average, if it's above the provincial average, if it's above average of outport towns similar size to us. For instance, is our cancer rate higher than Arbor Breton or other towns of our size? However, it's enough that the council is concerned about it, and enough that we'd like to know more about it. So therefore, within the next weeks, we hope to make inquiries of the Department of Health and Public Health and one thing or the other, and be brought up to speed onto just how do Burgeo compare. So later on, hopefully I'll have a report on that, and hopefully that we're not above average. I reported that since our last report that there's been a provincial election, and I must say I wish that I could report tonight that there had also been a municipal election. However, that was not to be. We held nomination day on the 7th of October. We were looking forward to an election on the 28th of October. However, there was not one person in this town came forward to offer themselves for the Burgeo Town Council. This is very disappointing and it's frustrating, to be quite honest with you. You know, you just can't help but ask, is anyone concerned with this town? And I mean, when you take a town of over 1,800 people, you call nominations for just one position, and not one person steps forward. Yeah, it's really frustrating to the councillors, you know, and the ones that's there. So therefore, where do we go from here? We don't know. I guess after Christmas, we will probably call for nominations again. If that fails, maybe we're going to have to make a request to Municipal Affairs to cut the number of members on the Burgeo Town Council. You know, take it down from 7 to 6 or 5 will be the number for the Burgeo Town Council. But it certainly doesn't speak well, you know, that you can see in a town of 400 or 500 people, they might be getting trouble to get 7 councillors. I mean, there's a lot of towns smaller than that, 300 and 400, but yet they've got a full slate of councillors. But Burgeo with 1,800 people can't find 7 people to step forward and run for the Burgeo Town Council. So there it is. There's nothing we can do about it. And after Christmas, so you got lots of time to think about it, I feel quite certain that we will be calling for nominations a second time. By this time, many of you have received your property assessments. If you did, no doubt, I think the town clerk reported to us that almost everyone's property have declined. The value of the property have decreased. Overall for the town, I believe he reported that there was a $4 million decrease in property values. Now, as you know, if property values go down, taxes or money that the town receives on the assessment goes down. Of course, the town can't operate with a decrease. So once we get the budget in now, we're going to have to look at it. And presently, your assessment, the mill rate for Burgeo is 8.5. To break even, we would have to go to 10 mills to raise the same money that we rose last year. So what you're seeing is probably you're going to see an increase in the mill rate, but it will not mean that you'll have to pay more taxes. It just means you'll pay the same thing on a lesser value thing. It's terrible, you know, when you see property being decreasing in value, the rate that is decreasing in Burgeo. And if something doesn't happen to happen, then this decline is going to continue. It was also approved at the meeting that the councillor would be contacting Mr. Harold McCurdy with regard to the situation as the union over at the fish plant. There's a successor clause in that contract, and town has been advised that regardless, even if that building was took down and someone came in there and set up well, it could be a flour mill or anything, manufacturing, anything at all, then it would still be tied to that successor clause and would be tied to the union. Now, not saying that there would ever be anything come there, but it would be very difficult to attract someone to that property when it's already unionized. That's one thing. The other thing, with regard to crab, we want to just bounce off him once more what the possibility is in getting a winter exploratory crab fishery. So that's something that council will be looking into. Since the last time I spoke to you and I reported back to council, the Newfoundland Labrador Federation municipalities have held their our convention in Gander. Mr. Herb Britt from the town of Arnold's Cove, the Arnold's Cove Town Council, is the new president of the Newfoundland Labrador Federation municipalities. A few things in that convention that may be of interest to you one was the hydro proposed increase in rates. They're proposing 7.2% for residential and 14% for commercial. The Newfoundland Labrador Federation municipalities will be intervening at that Public Utility Board hearing. They have met with Mr. Dennis Brown on 3 occasions, and hopefully we can cut back on that. Another item of interest, especially to the Town Council, was that Mr. Paul Martin, who will be soon the Prime Minister of Canada, is on record to the Canadian Federation of Municipalities in stating that when he becomes Prime Minister, he will refund 5 cents on each liter of gasoline to the municipalities. So they're going to do away with, take 5 cents out of the tax that the federal government collects on each liter of gasoline, and we'll give that back to the municipalities. Now, of course, that'll come back through the provincial government, and provincial government, you can't always trust them. So our federation will be working very strongly and putting a strong case forward to the provincial government to see that that money comes to the municipalities, and that the provincial government don't take the 5 cents and use it to fix up their deficits and so on. So the Federation municipalities will certainly be trying to make sure that, 5 cents off every liter of gasoline that's sold in Burgeo will come to Burgeo, not go to the provincial budget. We had Mr. George Saunders, the pricing person who takes care of the price of gasoline within the province. He spoke at our convention, and he brought out some very, very strong points. And one is with regard to supporting your local gas station. Now, several towns today have lost their gas stations. I know McCoovik in Labrador is one, and I believe it's Point Leamington, but there's several anyway. Burjo would have lost one of theirs. The Ultramar pulled out of Burjo because of the volume of sales. Mr. Herrick was lucky in that he got Western Petroleum to supply gas to him. There's quite a few towns that haven't been that lucky. Apparently Western Petroleum and North Atlantic have stepped in to take over some of these stations. But what it all boils down to is supporting your local gas station. And you know, we got two, Irving and Ultramar, or rather Western Petroleum here in Burgeo. And I know one time, you know, because of the difference in gasoline, you'd leave here with just enough gas to get to Corner Brook or Stephenville, and when you came back, you had your tank topped up full. Well, you know, the thing have changed. We've got the same gas prices they got in Stephenville. I believe there's only 2 cents difference in here and Corner Brook. So the need to do that is no longer necessary. And really it does pay to support your own gas station, because there's like I say, there's some towns now, and the stories was told at the convention, where people want gasoline and they've got to drive perhaps 20 kilometers in order to get their gasoline. So if you can put that in perspective, you know, if you want a gallon of gasoline for your lawnmower, and you would have to drive as far as, well, we say into Beaver Pond, you know, that doesn't make for a good situation. So I pass that on, and in saying this, it's not only the gas stations, local gas stations, that needs local support. All of the businesses here in Burgeo, you know, I'm not trying to tell people which way to spend their money either, and I don't want it to be interpreted that way. But, you know, we live in a town where we've all got to pool together if we want this town to prosper and grow. And really, sometimes you should question whether you're saving that much more by shopping outside of your own town. I mean, the province puts forward buy provincial manufactured, and I don't see anything wrong with the town council putting forward that we should shop local wherever possible. Another statistic which came out with regard to the town councils was that 8% of councillors are teachers and 8% are fishers, and the average age of town councillors is well over 40 and close to 50. And that was just about it for our meeting, except that we got approval for invoices in the amount of $8,448.59. So good evening, and thank you once again.
Stay with us for Off the Rack, the community events, and the BBS Playbill, all after this.
Matching mothers is to help the mother deal with it.
Once we got over the shock of Kevin being born without his left hand, we contacted the War Amps.
I phoned the War Amps back and asked them what it was all about, and they said it was totally up to me if I wanted to call this mom.
They said, would you mind if we set you up with another parent who has gone through a similar thing?
When I phoned Karen the next day, we were on the phone for a long time.
I'd always ask her questions about Kelly, how she's getting on doing this, and like tying her shoes.
Matching mothers is a good thing right from day one.
Off the Rack. This week, as we scanned our tape rack, we came across a tape of the Sea Cadets and other organizations marching to the Memorial Library site on Remembrance Day. Let's look back to November the 11th, 1989.
Pansy.
Jim, coming in right, sir.
Good evening. Welcome to the community event segment of tonight's broadcast. I'm Rebecca Young. The winner of the minor hockey TV bingo was Millie Durnford. Congratulations, Millie. The Understanding the Early Years will be having TV bingo on Wednesday, November 12th at 7 p.m. One game for $300. Cards are $6 for $5 and are available from any member of Understanding the Early Years and are in most stores around town. Please support Understanding the Early Years. Play TV bingo. The Faith United Sunday School children will be having a bake sale on Tuesday, November 11th at 2 p.m. at the Christian Education Center. All baked goods are greatly appreciated. We will have more details later. Resident Family Council are selling tickets on a kitchen basket. Tickets are $1 each or 3 for $2. Anyone wanting tickets can get them from the CHCC staff or residents' family members. The LOBA are selling tickets on baskets of towels. Tickets cost $1 each or 3 for $2 and are available from any member of the LOBA. The Calder Healthcare Center would like to remind residents that the flu shots are still available. They are given every Wednesday from 2 to 4 p.m. If you haven't had the flu shot before, you must see your family doctor before you can receive it. The Burgeo Library is selling tickets on baskets of towels and a complete turkey dinner. Tickets are 3 for $2 and are available from parents who have children involved in story time. Draw date is December 19th. If your group or organization has an upcoming event planned, we will be happy to advertise it for you. Just call the BBS office by Wednesday of each week to have items included in this portion of our broadcast. That concludes the community event segment of tonight's broadcast. See you next week.
BBS Playbill. Tune in on Tuesday for a rebroadcast of Pansy's Garden. Try your luck on Wednesday by playing Understanding the Early Years TV Bingo. On Thursday, we will have a rebroadcast of entertainment from the Sand and Sea Festival with music by ST&T. Join Pansy and the gang for 2 stories, a craft, and lots of fun on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on Pansy's Garden. And I'll be here again next week with This Week in Review. Please stay tuned now for entertainment from the Sand and Sea Festival with music by ST&T. For This Week in Review, I'm Marie Rose. Good night and God bless.